Hiya, ghouls and boils. I'm back. If you don't know who I am, I'm the Crypt Keeper, and HBO won't let me on telly anymore, so I've had to go on YouTube. Krupa hired me off Cameo to do this last week, and I had a banging time. So I'm back tonight to introduce tonight's film, which is John Carpenter's Halloween. So I'll pass you over to the other host, Krupa. Good. Hello, everyone. If this is your first Halloween horror stream, little bit of housekeeping. You have to have your own copy of John Carpenter's 1978 classic Halloween at the ready. When that clock reaches 0, press start on the film from the very beginning. I'm going to do the same. I can't show the film for legal reasons, obviously, not into piracy, and I don't want to get the channel cancelled when the other two boys aren't around. So in that little space, I fixed the problem from last week. We'll get stills from the movie, so you'll roughly know where we are. Every 30 seconds they're going to change, but they'll give you a little rough idea of where we are in the film. But yeah, hello, good evening, welcome everybody. I'm very, very excited to be watching this film. Ramen is passed out. I don't know if you can quite tell on that image, but yeah, his eyes are just barely open. He's not seen Halloween yet, so he's looking forward to it, as you can tell. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Yeah, so I saw some people in the chat saying that you can watch Halloween on Shudder in America. Shudder over here in the UK is absolute bollocks. There's very little on it. You've got all the original stuff, but there's very little in the way of classic stuff on there. Jay Armstrong's here, big fan of The Thing. The Thing's got a little Easter egg in this movie. We'll get to later. Ben M says, we all know it'll be Gav that eventually gets you banned. I don't know. I reckon I'll fuck something up one day. I actually shit myself when we were doing the Halloween stream last year, and we got a copyright strike live on air. I was like, ooh, because we were showing Owlman videos. Bubstar says, Host on UK Shudder is good. Host is good. That is the Zoom horror film, Zoom's seance film. If anyone's not seen that, that's very good. It's quite fun that it's about 50 minutes long, because what's the Zoom free limit? 40 minutes or so. Are we expecting another ramen walkout? Nathan says. Well, I don't know. We have to see what he thinks of the film. Ramen's a very, very tough audience. I don't know how you're going to watch the film from down there, buddy, with your eyes closed. Good. Ben Noble says, I brought you for him, Owlman. Oh, Jen, you've never seen Halloween? Amazing. You're in for a treat. So it's £3.50 to rent on Amazon UK, Stephen Harrison says. Yeah, so you've got just over 6 minutes 30 seconds to get your copy primed and ready. Available on Now TV in the UK too, Joe Reynolds says. Chris Armstrong says it's got the wrong date on Amazon UK, says it's dated 2015. Ooh, Benjamin Buse says, is it remaster or anniversary edition? I don't know what I'm watching. My copy, I don't think there's massively disparate cuts of Halloween. Now, that is going to be an issue next week when we watch The Shining. I need to figure out which edition of The Shining we're going to watch, because the US theatrical release is a good 20 minutes longer than the European release. I think we'll go for the longer version, but I will let people know in the Patreon event which one they should be watching. So So the copy I have is 91 minutes long. So yours should roughly be the same. Very excited for people watching this for the first time. Anyone else watching it for the first time, or just Jen? Oh, Richard Burns not seen it before. Ben's not seen it before. This is a classy film. One of John Carpenter's earliest films. What's he made before this? Dark Star and Assault on Precinct 13. It's just a really elegant film made by a bunch of teenagers or like people in their early 20s over a couple of weeks, and it was, I think, for a long period of time, it was the highest grossing movie or the highest return on a budget for a long time, and it really launched John Carpenter's career. Oh, he's dreaming. Everyone see that? Did you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. He's like, oh. Good. He's not bothered at all. I also saw someone in the chat earlier said they had pierogies, which I'm very jealous about. I'm a big fan of pierogies. I always call them vareniki because that's what the Ukrainian version of the dish is called, and that's what my babci used to make for me, varenikis, which is essentially the same thing, just stuffed dumplings. But I don't remember who it was. I think it was Hannah said she was having pierogies. I want to know what is inside the pierogies, please. Nathan Corbett, this might be his favourite film. This might be my favourite film. It's definitely a top 5 film for me. Oh wait, forgot time to go get my jumper. I'm gonna have to take this off because it's way too hot to be wearing this for. See that, Michael? I'm gonna hold this on for when the movie starts, and then I'm gonna have to take it off because it's way too hot. Okay, I'm gonna get my headphones ready. I'm gonna get ready for the switch. So I've got to change scene and I've got to press play at the same time, so we're all in sync. Hannah Gunderman says, in Pittsburgh, pierogies are abound. Is there a lot of Eastern European immigrants or people from that background in Pittsburgh? Oh, I think some people are getting... What's the 2015 version? Halloween 2015. What's on Amazon saying it's the 2015? Dean, oh wow. Any advice on a starting story for Lovecraft? Oh, so he's just finished Dracula, which is a great book. Any advice on Lovecraft? I guess if you want to go straight in, you might as well read The Mountains of Madness, but that is a very long story. It's almost a novella. I think it's good picking up any of the... I think that is the most... That's the big Lovecraft story. So if you want to get your eye in on all the cosmic stuff and his worldview and his approach to storytelling and language, Rahman's just showcasing his bits and talking of unspeakable horror. That's probably the best, but there's lots of other fun stories like the Reanimator story, Herbert West. There's a lot of good short stories as well, so I just pick up any collection. But Out Mountains of Madness is probably a good starting point. Sounds like Amazon UK, Amazon Prime, video needs to sort his shit out, because the one that's labeled 2015 is the right one. Right, okay, got 30 seconds to go, so I'm going to get Prime to switch over. Might have to take this jumper off. Roman's showing his bit still. No, he's not. Okay. My copy gone. Shit. Shit, where's my copy? Ah. Fuck. Oh, Daniel. Got it. What were you worried about? Right, press play now. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Excellent. This music. I am going to talk over this film a bit, which is probably pretty annoying if you've not seen it before, so you can turn me down and watch this maybe later. But John Carpenter wrote a lot of the music for a lot of his films, and I actually saw him live in concert in London on Halloween, playing a lot of his original music from his films. And obviously, when he played this song, the place went fucking insane, because intercut with the music, they played clips from the film and some of the very famous dialogue that we'll get to later. But I think I'm right in saying that John Carpenter's dad was a professor of music and taught at a university. And what's interesting about this rhythm on this music is it's in the time signature 5/4. And with 5/4, it kind of, well, it's longer than a standard bar, so it topples into the next one, which creates this idea of a melody that never ends and never stops, that's relentless, which is obviously perfect for the character of Michael Myers. If people have not watched on these streams before, I also have a browser window open. This is what this picture of Michael is. So if we need to check anything during the film, I can be on it. Here we go. That's some sweet Halloween lore. Little fact, I've actually been to this house. Love that little musical sting. Oh, Funkhauser, Dr. Funkhouse got his spooky shirt on for this. Lovely. Also, how quick was he done? That's not very enjoyable for anyone. What are we saying? That's one continuous shot. How long was he up there? How long were they at it for? 20 seconds? Happy Halloween? I don't fucking think so. I think this is a mask. Or chat about this being Gav's mum's house. Not on. What has he done? What's he like? Carlos, it's bloody awful night for her all round. I know. Jen saying that stabbing was significantly less lurid. This is not a very bloody or violent film. A lot of this film, like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a lot of this is about implication. There's not that much very graphic violence in this at all. Nathan saying you can tell he's a pro murderer. Wasn't even looking for the last few stabs. Natural, innit? It's like when they first saw Messi kick a ball. You're like, this kid's got it. I don't know what it is, but he got it. Got Kilray in here, very excited. I'm very excited to watch this with you. I've not seen this for so long. I say I've not seen this for so long. Probably like 6 months. I do. Ben saying psychological thriller. I think it's definitely a horror film. I don't think gore or lurid violence equates to horror. I think it's horror because there's a sense. It is horrifying. There's a sense of dread. There's a menace to it. Arguably, there's supernatural elements. I do think it's definitely a horror film. It is Blofeld. Mr. Donald Pleasance. There's a big coup for Carpenter to get Donald Pleasance to do this film, which he brings a lot of gravitas to this character. Definitely helps. He's got a couple of fantastic speeches coming up, one right now, that he really helps sell the concept of Michael Myers being truly evil. Best slasher? I mean, Clubstar says, I think for me, yes. It is Mount Massive, and says. Alright, Doc. Go on, move. Oh, we were playing the theme to Halloween on the guitar. Perhaps. Perhaps. It is there. The axe. The nightmare axe, as I call it. I should just say guitar, because when I say nightmare axe, people are like, what? What is that? Stephen Harrison coming in with some good trivia. Carpenter actually approached Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee for the role too. Two Hammer horror greats. Yeah, that shot of all the patients just wandering like that is really haunting. Oh. So you'll get to Ethics DK is just saying, will we get to know more about Michael? You're going to find out a lot about Michael in the years since through this character of Dr. Pleasance. I mean, if his doctor over the last X amount of years refers to him as evil, you know it's not good. So this is Haddonfield. It's meant to be in Illinois. They shot this in Pasadena, which is in the suburb, it's a region of LA. So they found Pasadena has kind of streets that resemble the Midwest. But as Jamie Curtis is walking along in some of these shots, I'll see if I can point it out. When there's one shot in particular, if you look down in the distance, you can see palm trees. You're not getting palm trees in Illinois, obviously. And also, they didn't shoot this at like this. Look at the leaves on the ground. None of these trees are in. No, it's autumn. So they had these dry leaves they would just pick up and just spread around every time they were filming. But if you look at the trees, they're all green. I think we might get a palm tree in a second, actually. I mean, I don't really care about any of that stuff because I think it does it. It's just quite fun to point it out. Dean, is this rehearsed knowledge or do you know this film inside out? I know this film pretty well. I used to listen to the commentaries quite a lot. I really miss commentaries being a thing. I really wish. I was talking to Gav about this the other day. Actually, you see the palm trees coming up in this shot if you look right in the back of frame. I really miss the palm trees there. Me and Gav were saying, I really wish like Netflix had the option to play director's commentaries in the drop down. It's a real shame that that's not being preserved. Okay, I'm glad people are liking the extra info and it's not annoying. If it is annoying, whack me down. The Myers house, so it is on this street. When January 2019, just as we launched RKG, me and Gav went to LA for our friend's wedding. She invited us, and we went and we stayed with a bunch of IGN people. It was Terry Schwartz's wedding, if you know who that is, if you follow IGN. And we were staying in like close to Pasadena. And one afternoon, we didn't really have anything to do. We were a big group of people. And I just said, I'm going to go visit the Michael Myers house. I'm going to do this by myself because I don't want to make everyone do it. But everyone wanted to come with me. So we went to the Michael Myers house. But it's not on that street anymore. They moved the house. They I don't know if they could just pick it up or they deconstructed it, but they rebuilt it somewhere else. So the Michael Myers house, if you're interested, is in South Pasadena and it's on this corner. I think it's now an insurance broker's, maybe. But yeah, it's now next to a railway line. So it's nowhere. It's the same house. In America, you can just move a house, apparently. But there it is. And they don't mind you taking photos, but they don't like you knocking on. But we also went to this place next door, which is a Michael Myers. They've basically cashed in and made like a little Michael Myers. You can see him there. Gallery. I mean, there's not much to it at all. You pay $5 and you go in and they've got some memorabilia. It's weird because we watched Nightmare on Elm Street last week, but I don't know if the scene with Nancy in that is quite similar to this. I love that shot. One of the things I find most upsetting about this movie are the shots of Michael stalking her in the first 40-50 minutes of the movie. That. Just waiting with inhuman patience, just waiting and staring at her in broad daylight, I think is really, really unsettling. It's good. People really know about how to move a house. I think it's also unsettling. It's also unsettling because at this point you don't know why it's sting to scare you there. But I think it's also unsettling because at this point you don't really know why he has that white face. You're like, what's going on there? You right, mate? You don't want to watch this? Laura saying, I love that Michael is a pro at driving. Easy in America. No clutch. You off? Reposition this. I guess in America, you don't have a clutch. Easy. It's like essentially American cars just like go-karts. You buy him a nice bed, and he does that. Let me see if he's gone a bit out of focus. Yeah, Roman back in focus. Kenshi saying Ramen stealing the shirt. Ramen always steals the shirt. I get this. You being cute? Knackered. Barely done anything today. You just slept and watched football. Yeah, it's cooler on the floor. Kind of wanders around. Adam's right. Myers be screwed in England with a clutch. Imagine Michael Myers trying to find biting point or do a hill start. Not happening. Upside, do we think Michael is smart? That's 2 on the kill count. Death counter. You do like live Michael Myers death counter. Very good, Kylo. The Haunting of Hill Start. It's very good. I'm gonna have to take this jumper off. I'm burning up like ramen. Sorry, bud. Jesse Frank, are there no automatics in the UK? There are automatics in the UK, and they're increasingly common now. If you were buying a modern, like a new car, it's probably going to be an automatic. But it used to be the case that everyone would learn how to drive manual. What year is the original for this? 1978. What's coming up is my favourite skirt in the whole film. This bit. So weird. I find that really strange and haunting. Oh, Benjamin View just said the Dark Souls video, the Transatlantic Challenge, got 1 million views. I didn't realise that. That's awesome. Fantastic news. That's cool. Took a while. Goldfarb tweeted what? I like to think Goldfarb's just watching it again and again, and he's got us over. That's oh, I'm sorry. No idea where he's gone. Where's he gone? Oh, he's on the sofa. You see my washing. We'll leave him there. He might return later. Might return. I mean, it's unlikely, if I'm honest. Hey, Lady Vengeance. That's okay if you can't watch the whole film. This video will last forever. Anytime you want to watch Halloween, check it out. Sorry, I think I might have scared people with a sneeze. That's my bad. Crisps says, shame no one in Netherlands celebrates Halloween. I also saw in the comments, ethics saying this. Not really a big thing in Denmark either. Wasn't a big thing in the UK for most of my childhood, which was really sad to me because I really, really desperately wanted to celebrate it. Because I always think about this. I think it was the generation, one of the first generations that was really exposed to a lot of American media. Just watching TV shows as a kid, like The Simpsons. And I just wanted to have the full Halloween experience, but my mum wouldn't let me go out trick or treating. She thought it was tantamount to begging. She's like, "You're not going around this neighborhood trick or treating." So she used to let me dress up, and I'd just run around the house and dress as a vampire or the Grim Reaper. And I'd watch Treehouse of Horror episodes and a horror film or two. That was my version of Halloween as a kid. Michael Dow makes a good point. Is the Michael Myers in the sheets an homage to it or vice versa? No, the shot you're referring to at the beginning of the 1990 TV adaptation when the little girl at the beginning sees Pennywise in the sheets. Uh, Actually, I was going to go, oh, maybe coincidence. So Tommy Lee Wallace, who directed the 1990 version of It for TV, was the editor on this movie. So he might be visually quoting it or making a reference to it. The Bub Star's 23 and a Trick or Treat most of my childhood, also based in the UK. I think that's what's changed because I'm 34 and it just what I think, 5-10 years later, Halloween became much more popular and common. You just buy more decorations in shops. And Adams referring to Wigan as the armpit of England. That is not fair. I'm not having that. Dean's here for the brown suit. It's a lovely tweedy suit. You want a heavy suit like that in October. He is probably suiting this in spring in Pasadena. Michael Dale says he's only seen this Halloween from the original run. I mean, two. I mean, the other ones aren't very good. Two is interesting simply because it takes place immediately after the events of Halloween 1. 3 is a standalone movie, so they almost made the decision they were going to anthologize it, and Halloween was going to be a bigger brand name where each Halloween film would be a different story and they wouldn't be centered on Michael Myers. That didn't really pan out. So 4 is the return of Michael Myers. 4 is probably the best of all the kind of initial sequels. Halloween H2O, I was really excited about as a kid because... So, I think this could be the railway corner where the house is now, maybe. Sorry, I've just thought about that for the first time, I'm not sure. H2O is kind of interesting because it's when Jamie Lee Curtis comes back 20 years later. Although this gets where it gets very complicated. The new Halloween film that came out a couple of years ago pretends that that film never existed and none of the sequels existed, just to tighten up the continuity. Halloween H2O isn't great, but I have a lot of nostalgic love for it. And what's insane in that movie, really weird, is the Michael Myers mask changes multiple times because they had a lot of problems in production with getting it to look right. In some scenes, it's a CG mask. CG mask in 1998, not going to look good tracking a face. What's the Halloween movie? That was Halloween Resurrection with Busta Rhymes. So Halloween 20 years later, actually that's what this t-shirt is. Halloween. Yeah, it had like the short moniker H2O. I think the 2018 sequel's pretty good though. It's driving in this. Or Halloween music with Tubular Bells as best horror theme. I'm going Halloween, very similar because it's that kind of similar rhythm and instrumentation. Bernard Herrmann's Psycho score is pretty great. I like the score in Nightmare on Elm Street. I like the music in The Shining. It's incredibly ominous. We'll be watching that next week. Yeah, Chris, there's 2 sequels to Halloween. One was meant to be out this year. One was meant to be out this month. Halloween Kills and Halloween... What? Halloween Forever? Halloween Ends. That's the other one. are we in now? What minute are we on now? We're 35 minutes into this now, or so. And what you're going to get now is we go into the sequence of nighttime, where it's just this quite a relentless, sustained sequence of him terrorizing these kids on Halloween night. Really, like, what I like about this film is such a simple idea. In the years that came later, obviously it was often imitated and never really bettered. But it's such an elegant, simple film. Like, it's a really simple concept, but Carpenter makes it in a way that it's kind of like Alien as well, where the director makes the material he's working with way better, elevates it by just making it in a really stylish way. So Bubstar says, ever thought of adding a clock ticking up for the latecomers? So Gav mentioned it. Well, I said this to Gav, but then we were like, would it be really annoying for people? Do people think a ticking clock in the screen would be annoying for the whole movie? Hey Matt, how you doing? That's okay, you don't have to watch the film, just hang out. I could put a ticking clock on ramen so he looks like a bomb. Brilliant monologue. It's a really interesting monologue because he is a doctor, he's a psychiatric doctor, he's a man of science, but then to start using words like evil just makes you think, what is going on here? Because you've not spent time with Michael yet outside of that intro sequence. You go, why is this doctor who's studied the full spectrum of mental conditions going for such a charged religious word like evil? Matt says, do you have a recommendation for movie protagonists who don't act stupid all the time? I mean, like if we hadn't watched last week, Nightmare on Elm Street would be a good example for me. I think Nancy's pretty resourceful. She knows what's going on throughout the entirety of that movie. Sydney's pretty good in Scream. The Cabin in the Wood kids are pretty good. The survivors at the end. I mean, I guess it's just part. We're talking slashers in particular. You need fodder. People need to die. So it's inevitable that there's going to be a lot of stupid people or people making bad decisions in order for your killer to have people to kill. Otherwise, it just wouldn't exist, I guess. Oh, amazing. Bradley said he updated to a producer specifically for this stream. And he says he loves me. Well, I love you too, Bradley. That's really nice because we want to do more interesting and different streams for producers. The kind of stuff that you just wouldn't get on the channel normally. So personal stuff we make a little bit of time and effort for, also stuff where we want to experiment with new ideas. So the fact that you signed up for it that's exactly why we've been doing this stuff. Thank you for doing that. Ben M says Michael's mask is a Bill Shatner one. It is. It's Captain Kirk mask that the production team bought. They gouged the eyes a little bit to make them bigger, and they painted it white. And I think they like pulled at the hair and stuff. Conversation about people acting dumb in horror movies. I mean, if you're scared and in a situation like this, I don't think everyone is always making the best rational decisions. Ripley's a good example in the chat from the Alien films. Chaotic Gaming doing well with the death count. Dog makes 5. Michael Dial says, when can we expect next season of Retry reveal? I'm not giving that away on a producer stream without the other two. Shameless trying to get that out of me. You'll find out a few weeks after the end of Sekiro, I would say. Jesse Frank makes an excellent point. Also, most people are really stupid. Yes, again, do we count plants as alive? Plants are technically alive. I would say. I don't know if they work in the death count though. Will Whitty says, how many rooms at Sensible on a work night? What do you do? What do you have to do tomorrow? Depends. Or, like, you operate heavy machinery. Matt saying, can you give us some info on the next Dark Souls 3 stream? Yes, so I think my plan with the Dark Souls 3 Platinum streams is, because we've fallen off it a little bit for some reasons, I'm going to try and do multiple in November. I think what I want to do is, in November, if it's like 3 or 4 episodes, finish the first game cycle, and then probably go on a break for December and Christmas, and then come back and do smaller stretches for each game cycle. But yeah, I'll do at least 2 or 3 episodes in November on that. Oh no, Das Brandes says his little puppy had a wee on the carpet. I remember when I first got Ramen, I was filming him running around the flat, just being really cute and little. And I never noticed at the time until a couple of months later when I watched the clip back. He was actually having a wee in the corner, but I just couldn't tell because he was so small. But when you review the video, you can see below him when he moves, the little tiny puddle. Ben's saying, are you doing DLC on new game? Worth it for some rings? I guess we could do that. We could do that as its own standalone stream. I'll look into it. It's a good idea though. That's cool. Adam's upgrades producer to watch Dark Souls 1 Platinum during the week. This is the big... Sorry, this is a bit off topic from Halloween. Patreon is great and it does lots of really cool stuff. Obviously, we put a lot of our videos on YouTube. Patreon doesn't have great tools for us to organize. That's a really cool scale. The videos in a really sorry, let me get back to my point. I'm distracted by Michael Myers. Patreon doesn't let us give links to all the producer tier content that's on YouTube in an interesting or visually appealing way. I really wish we could slot Patreon. Imagine like the IGN homepage where we could go, oh, here's Krupa's Platinum stream, and I could put all those episodes in a little column or a playlist. Patreon just does not have that functionality. So I'm actually looking into building something. So as a producer, you could go to a website, it'll probably be on our own website, and as a producer, you could just have all these like playlists and stuff. But when you click on it, it takes you to the appropriate Patreon post, so it's still be gated, so nobody could just access it if they weren't a producer. Just at the minute, we've got all these videos archived, and there's no really fun way of accessing them. Anyway, that's my little rant over, but that's a little project I'm working on. So Bub said you can do hidden playlists, but we can send those links out, but it's just you want to have like a landing page where you could see all the stuff with thumbnail previews. Also, I'm a bit wary of doing playlists because that every producer video gets added to, because yeah, that could exist, and I'm sure most people are really honest and trustworthy and I trust them, but somebody could sign up for 1 month, save the URL for that playlist, and then just like drop off the producer tier. Yeah, I know there's some playlists exist. I mean, we can't stop it from happening, but that is my worry. So on the flip side, if you want to, this is a bit off topic, it's not Halloween. If you want to be really protective, Patreon lets you link to things like Vimeo, but we choose to use YouTube because we know people prefer watching stuff on YouTube, like I would. Also, would you consider doing a book club? I think that's a really cool idea. I'd definitely be up for doing. We talked about producer streams. I know Gavin and Rory are doing the playthrough of A Way Out at the minute, but the idea of us cycling between us, taking control of producer streams and making them very personalised. I'd be into doing a book club. Sylvia Gallagher says Vimeo still exists. Exactly. Her face, and Jesus. Deborah Hill is the name of the co-writer of this film. Yeah. Chaosy Gaming with some good trivia in the chat as well. I love her face then when she dies. Nathan Culpa, she literally blinks after death. It's a weird death. What year is The Thing? So, what year did... This is 78. Thing 82? Wow, so 4 years later he's making... Cool. Only 4 years later after this. That's... I mean, in terms of budget and effects work, that is an incredible thing. I've not seen that either. I remember earlier in the year, when we were all learning a lot about viruses and R rates and transmission rates, I spent like an hour trying to figure out what the R number was for the thing. And then I was going to write an article about it, and I thought, oh, is this actually quite poor taste? Matt says, have I played PT? Yes, I have played PT, and I love it. Did it scare me? It definitely unsettled me and scared me. But you're asking, did it make me jump? And it did make me jump now. Adam says, did he reveal his next film in this one? I don't think he's revealing as much as, obviously, it's a film that he had a lot of affection for and probably already had ideas of how he would adapt it. But this film really catapulted him into a position where he could something like The Thing. What's in between? Like, his run is pretty amazing. You got Assault, Halloween, I think Escape from New York's next, The Thing, and then The Fog. What order is that in? That's a pretty fucking amazing run of films. He is one of my favourite filmmakers. Alright. Yeah, so you got Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York. Look at the years. 76, 78, 80, 81, 82, The Thing, 83, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness. I love Prince of Darkness. They Live. I like My Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I particularly like the scene where he eats a piece of chewing gum as the Invisible Man. In the Mouth of Madness is one of the few good Lovecraftian films with Sam Neill. And then he made some other films too. This is another great speech. I love how Loomis gets off on scaring those kids a little bit. More shagging coming up. Just putting it out there. Just getting people ready for it. No, you're all thinking it. I've not seen Colour Out of Space yet. Sorry, I kind of shot myself. Stephen Harrison asking when the bath scene is again. Just, you need to sort yourself out, mate. Oh, Dean, you dirty. Dean was going to go get a drink and now he's not because of the shagging. Dean's asking about my cough. I actually think it was a bit my drink went down the wrong way. Oh, Michael's watching. Dirty bastard, Adam says. Chaotic Gaming says, imagine just walking into someone else's house, just screwing your boyfriend or girlfriend on the couch. Kids in it. No respect. Again, have they just like finished kissing, or again was that another attempt at the world's shortest shag? Steven saying, I wonder if Carpenter did that shite pumpkin. He's got a lot of stuff on, mate. He's making the film. I remember at university we did pumpkin carving with my friend Ben, who I lived with. And Ben was studying physics, but particularly astrophysics, and we were carving pumpkins, and he did just the classic cheesy pumpkin face, similar to the one in the opening credits of this movie, and like that one in shot now, and because he liked astronomy, he thought he'd do a star on the side, and I don't think he really knew what he was doing, but he did a star with, what is it, 6 points. So he just did them all over, like on either side. He kind of was the Star of David. He just looked like he'd made a Jewish pumpkin, which is a lovely idea. But I was like, "You Jewish?" It's like, no. So, I mean, you made a Jewish pumpkin, but it looked nice. Just wasn't expecting it. Who brings a pumpkin for a shag? Ben makes a good point. Ben Noble says he'd bring his pumpkin to a shag, so different people did, need different things to perform. Again, is that it? Bob, come on, Bob. Look, he's like knackered. Another 30-second shag. So people clocking the shag. Some people say that's 15 seconds. Do we think that was longer or shorter than Michael's sister at the beginning? I really enjoyed last week when somebody asked, I can't remember who it was in the comments, said, wearing Freddy Krueger's hat, minging or fair play. We're recording a Halloween special of Shield Up this week. Can people suggest any other horror movie mingings or fair plays in the chat? I'll write them down and I'll put them to Gav in the podcast. Gav and Rory. I think Rory might be away for the podcast, but we'll go through some special Halloween minging or fair play. So if anyone's got some good ideas, stick them in the chat. Say this is probably the most violent of all the kills in the film. It pins him there. Great moment coming up. Great little touch with the head tilt. Weird. I think this is a good scene because, one, it implies he's superhumanly strong. To lift someone up by their neck, and Bob's a big dude, implies that he's incredibly strong. So you start thinking, is there something We've heard Loomis refer to him as evil. Is there something more supernatural at work here? And then also with the head tilt, love that. Almost like childlike, doesn't quite understand what he's done. He's examining Bob's corpse. It's really just a weird little moment. Oh, excellent. They're coming through the Ming and Fair plays. Wanking to the naked lady in The Shining, Ming in a fair play. So good. Right, I'm gonna have to screen grab these. Shagging a pumpkin, minging a fucking LD. Keeping your dead mum's head for company, minging a fair play, lovely. Dan O'Connor letting that fella in the dog suit from The Shining have a go. As Brandon says, speaking of shield up, how do you know what to read out? I don't know. Gav collates all the topics and the emails that we read out, so I'm not really privy to what gets selected and what doesn't, because mine and Rory's reactions on that podcast are all genuine. We have no advanced knowledge, so I can't really help you with that, I'm afraid. Sorry, dude. Ben's just said shagging Jason's mom. Just really gone for it there, haven't you, Ben? Ask a Ming and a fair play, would you eat an unfertilized alien egg like chicken? It's big in it. Big alien egg. You'd have to get a big old soul. You do a whole loaf of bread as a soul. This is turning a little bit into an Alan Partridge mid-morning matters phone in. I am quite conscious of that. Just That's a very good one, Michael Dyer. Shagging someone to pass on a deadly curse, being in a fair play. Oh, very good, Jesse Frank. Sleeping with your below ground copy person from us. Oh, is that just if you're sleeping with a perfect replica of yourself? Is that not just the fanciest wank? Like the deadliest game, the fanciest wank. Dan O'Connor, ringing a fair play. If the thing from the Ann's family tossed you off, would that like be like normal sex to him? Steal Pennywise's balloon, minging a fair play. That says. Stephen Harrison shagging hallway monitor Freddie Mingen in third place. Oh, big old point here from Taboo. This is good. It's getting deep about shagging your double. I think sex with yourself is only masturbation if it's you from another point in your own timeline. Clones, parallel world versions of yourself, etc. It's not masturbation. It has to be actually you from another point in your timeline. It's an interesting point. I don't think Rory's like massively into horror. I don't think he's that many horror films. Gav likes horror films. Has he wrote a thesis on horror movies? I don't know about that. Maybe his. I don't think that's what his uni just. Rather than showing his bits during a producer stream, being in a fair play. You tell me. I might just be one of my producer streams. Just I'm not streaming ramen though. That's not. That's not what I am. I didn't say that ramen. Oh, the Invisible Man and the Invisible Woman shagging in a being in a fair. Lots of good ones. Thank you. Roman's just asleep on the sofa. Might grab him for the finale of the movie. Might like a cook. Here we go. Why are you doing this to me? Very sleepy. You watch the end of the movie with us? You need a little bath. People saying, do the pause, do the pause. Too sleepy to do the pause. I got you, buddy. I got you. Yeah, like anything from about, I'd say, 8 o'clock onwards. He's just like this. This is a great shot where you see Michael's face just slowly appear out of the darkness. There's actually a little hidden light that the crew could control with just a, I guess, a resistor, and they just a dimmer switch. Sorry, they just turn it up ever so slightly, So it just gives this illusion of him emerging from the darkness without moving. People slagging off Michael. I know. He was a child prodigy with the stabbing, and now he's missing easy slashes. Yeah, I think. Oh, weirdly, I think our stills are slightly ahead. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's. Yeah, I don't know why the stills have done that. Can't really fix it right now. So. Mm. What people saying? People thinking Michael's lost his touch. Jay, Jay's doing some. Just did a big old dad joke in the chat. Love it, Jay. He's doing his best with the stabbing. At least he's Mike Triers with the stabby stabby. amazing scene coming up. I mean, I guess maybe she doesn't want to leave the kids. It's kind of smart to misdirect him. Not smart to put yourself in a corner. Michael Dial wants to know at what point does he shout "Happy Halloween, motherfucker"? It's coming up. Coming up. What wins, knife or coat hanger? It's the age-old question. Yeah, he's a superhero human, but he can't break a closet door. He hadn't used many closets in his lifetime. He don't really know how they work. All right, give him a break. Let's give Mike a break. Everyone's been very harsh to Michael in the comments. Can we just be a little bit more understanding towards Michael? He's not had the easiest life. Will Willie says, "Rise like a motherfucker, die like a motherfucker." Mike Myers, a true follower of the Power's ways. You're gonna see him rise like a motherfucker right now. All-time great horror moment coming up. Good abs. Good abs on Mike here. Oh, the abs on that. I'm not even struggling. If I do that, I'm like, you'd have to hold my legs down. I have to get Laurie over. She'd have to hold my ankles, and I'd be struggling. I was obsessed with this as a kid because I only had this on VHS. And she rips the mask off for a moment. I was obsessed with pausing it because I wanted to see what Michael Myers looks like. This copy is amazingly clear, but my VHS that I recorded off TV, it's really hard to see him. It's like, oh, he looks like. It is quite a shocking moment because he doesn't look like a monster. He looks like a fairly handsome young man. That's a doctor saying that as well. He's gone. I love these closing shots to the music. All the places he visits throughout the movie, just implying that he is everywhere. And I think you're meant to come away going, actually, is he supernatural? Can he not be killed here? And it's like, he could just be bleeding out around the corner. But there's a nice degree of ambiguity there. Just hear the breathing now. Robin, what do you think? Like it? Loved it. Look at him. Robin, what do you think? Is it good? You like it? I think it was a big success with Robin. He's loving it. Oh yes. Ah, fantastic. There you go. John Carpenter's 1978 horror classic, Halloween. I was always also obsessed with this in the credits. That we've got Michael age 23, Michael age 6. And then I was like, what the fuck is The Shape by Nick Castle? As a kid, I was like, what's The Shape? So The Shape is Michael when he ever has the mask on. I love this idea that he had a different name in the credits. It's a really cool mystery to me as a kid when I was like 12, 13, going, The Shape, it's a different thing. Rise like a motherfucker. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching live. We've got a big one next week. Got a really big one. We're doing The Shining. If you didn't catch me saying at the beginning of this stream, I need to figure out which version we're going to watch. I think I'm inclined to do the longer one. So next week's stream will be a longer stream. I think the US cut is about 2 hours 20, maybe. So big old stream. I'll let you know in the how to watch post which version of The Shining that you need to have if you want to watch along live. And I guess before we go, I need to ask chat, would they like to hear from the Crypt Keeper one more time? Because he's in my ear now, asking whether he needs to come back out or not. I'm just gonna wait. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Loads of good trivia in the chat tonight. Thank you for the minion horror themed Minions of Fair Plays. I think people want to hear from the Crypt Keeper one more time. Okay, so the Crypt Keeper, I'm just going to make sure he's ready. Oh yeah, I'm just checking if he's ready. Are you ready, Crypt Keeper? Are you ready to like say hello to everyone again? Okay, good. All right. Did everyone enjoy the Halloween film? Next week we're watching The Shining, and I've never seen it. Everyone thinks I always watch horror movies, but I actually don't like them. I've only seen 2, and they're all both they're both Tales from the Crypt films because I have to watch them for work. But I've never seen them. But next week, Krupa tells me we're watching The Shining by Stanley Kubrick, and apparently it's dead good, even though Stephen King thinks it's shit. But I'll see you next week, girls and boys. And until then, pleasant screams. That's what I used to say when I was on HBO.